Um, Angels from Montgomery.
You got to hit a button there allowing recording
Oh
information.
yes, that's right. That's right. We have to. That's right. We've now met all the current privacy laws.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So don't
Uh,
ask me about vaccinations or any of that kind of stuff, you know.
yeah. Right. um, let me see. Let me try to think of what it was that there's something in here that, from a timing standpoint, and I'm sort of on the Bonnie Raitt side of this thing.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's where we want to be, I think.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. That was it. The hammer on that precedes the B. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, and that was the other question. Okay, when we talked about this before,
Oh yeah.
um, we talked about this before. Coming out of this into the A,
Right.
um, that we're flattening it out, and we're doing that because I guess that's the way she does it.
I think she does it a couple of different ways at different times. Like um, right there, you're getting two notes with the bar, the
Right.
third and fourth strings, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of times she does it actually as an A7, where she's only worrying about the fourth string and leaving the third string open.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the most important thing on this is hearing the A and the bass. That we hear the open fifth string as the bass note in this chord. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it doesn't really matter which of those you do. I kind of like that one better with the open G in there. It's just a little the notes ring a little better, and it makes it really easy. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what I would do. Yeah.
Okay. And so if we're playing this is A7 with this G sitting on top of it,
Okay.
right?
Tell me more.
um, well, we have a G here,
Where? Where again?
right here.
Right. So we actually have two G's here.
Yeah, we have this one and this one.
So it doesn't matter that we have two. Neither. I mean, one of them is what makes this chord what?
A seventh.
Right. Okay. So the G is what gives us seven here.
Yeah.
But you have something else here that's not normal in an A chord.
Well, well, um, we don't have the C sharp here.
What do we have instead?
We have the D.
Okay. So what is that?
So this is so we don't have the C sharp, which was the third. We have the D, which is the fourth. So we
Okay.
have sus4,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So this is A7 sus4
A7 sus4.
is how we would
Okay.
label that.
And it doesn't matter that we have two G's in there, one higher than the other,
Right.
at least in terms of naming the chord.
Right. So so whether you had your little finger on or not, like if you didn't have your little finger on, we'd be playing an E up on that string,
Right,
which is another normal note. That's the fifth of our A chords.
right, right.
But as it is, you've got an E on the fourth string too. So we have all the notes we need. We need four notes for this chord. We need the root A, which we only have one of those in the bass.
Right.
We need the fourth, since it's sus4, which is the D that you have on.
Right.
And then we have only one E and two Gs in this,
Right.
you know. Or we could have two E's and one G if you didn't play the high G.
Right.
And
Right.
so we call those, this is just a different voicing of the chord. So the word voicing again means the exact arrangement of the notes.
Right.
And what usually makes one voicing sound significantly different than another, well, there are two things. It's the extremes. It's the lowest note and the highest note. So, like, if you didn't have that high G on, you would think it sounds like a different chord if that high note is an E.
Right.
It's not a different chord. It's just a different arrangement of the notes, and it's because the highest note is different. It sounds different, you know.
Yeah.
If a middle note changes, you barely notice it. Like, so for example, if I play, get you a little better view here. Okay. If I play a C chord here, I've got the E on top. Well, if I go to the C as a bar out of the A family, I end up with a G on top. And you can tell it's different because the high note changed.
Sure.
I played my open C chord with a G on it, and then went to this one. You'd have a hard time telling me which was which, because only the middle notes were rearranged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the one clue you might have when you hear this is really hard to hear because there's only one string in here, as opposed to this, is there's an open string in the one chord. And because I have brand new strings on, they just went on yesterday, that open note is slightly noticeable. You know, the other thing I notice when I go to this high one, though, is the second highest note. If I hear, I've got the high G and a C in there. That's, I didn't even tune my guitar just yet, but when I go to this, on the second string I hear an E. That gives it a little richer sound because it's the third of the chord.
Yeah.
So when I'm listening to something and trying to figure it out, a lot of times that's what I'm listening for, is what do I hear in the middle strings to make as clues to how they're playing a particular chord or something, you know.
Okay.
But anyway, so all we have here is A7 sus4.
A7 sus4. Okay.
Did you work on Sweet Baby James? James Taylor song?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know the song. I don't remember. Maybe, but
The reason I ask is that might be one that you'd have fun looking at,
okay.
because it's very easy strumming, and it has a bunch of chords like that, like 7 sus4 chords and things like that, that would be good for you to just figure out just by, if you just like grabbed my chart of it. I'll play it for you in just a second so you can get kind of refreshed as to what it sounds like. There is a young cowboy who lives on the range. His horse and his cattle are his only companions. He works in the saddle and sleeps in the canyons, waiting for summer, his pastures to change. As the moon rises, he sits by his fire, thinking about women and glasses of beer, closing his eyes as the doggies retire. He sings out a song which is soft, but it's clear, as if maybe someone could hear. anyway, a lot of chords, as you can see. You know,
Yeah. A lot
and
of good.
a lot of bar chords, B minors, F sharp minors, stuff to
Right.
it might be one you just take a look at for fun somewhere down the line because it's a big,
Oh, well. Yeah. Okay. Um, I like that. Okay. And so for Angels of Montgomery, I think this is just a continuing project of trying to get the get the feel of it right. I mean, I know where everything is in there. I think, and that's not a mystery. And so now we'll change that to that.
yeah. And you did a good job with that rhythm of getting that chord change on 4. One of the really a key element, anytime you've got that syncopated change where the change is happening on 4,
Yeah.
is you generally make sure you don't play anything on 1, that you let it carry over onto 1, and then you pick it up on 2
True.
again, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
remember if in
Yeah.
Bonnie's version she might. She's also capoed at the 2nd fret, so if you want to play along with her, you're going to be a whole step higher. But we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
So she does all of those changes, on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. And I guess she does the same thing here. Oh, as an intro, she only does the D and the G. She doesn't
Yeah.
ever do this, I don't think. She never gets to the A chord in the intro.
Right. 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 That's right. Yeah. That was.
But so then when she starts singing, she doesn't do the syncopated change. So while she's singing, she keeps it square. I am an old woman named after my mother. My old man done something. Now she does it here a long time ago. Right, so when she's singing, she does that syncopated change from the A back to D.
Okay. Oh, from the A to D. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that happens twice in the verse. It's
Right.
the second line and the fourth line.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And then in the chorus, she does it a couple of times too, right? Because now in the chorus, she ends up going, "Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery." Nothing there, but now here it happens. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. So on rodeo, it's got that same jump.
Rodeo. Okay.
Okay. The third line doesn't. Even though it could, just give me one thing that I can hold on to. But she could have done, just give me one thing that I can hold on to. And she I don't think she does, but it's like if you did that, it wouldn't be a problem if you're singing the song,
Okay.
Then she does something else unusual in the fourth line, and this, I'm really up on this because I was just working on it yesterday with these other 2 people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have to get them on the same page, right? So in the fourth line, she sings the fourth line just like the second line, which is again the second line, "Make me a poster of an old rodeo," right? But then we got, "Just give me one thing I can hold on to." Then in the last line, "To believe in this living is just a hard way to go." She doesn't do that.
Okay.
She doesn't jump it, but the vocal still does. So she goes, "To believe in this living is just a hard way to go." And the reason she doesn't do it is because when she gets to that D chord, she wants to start the syncopated change to the G again. And it can't work twice in a row. In other words, you can't really do this. Hard way to go. So even though the vocal part sounds like it should have had that change happen on 4, it doesn't. Because that would mess up the transition back into the intro, the D's and the G's.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Hopefully you got all that, but actually, even if you don't have all that, if you just play it and sing it by yourself, it'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Keep it square. Okay. Great. Dead flowers. Is that
Oh,
that's something we can do?
yeah. I can't even remember what Towns did in that. Let me listen to it once. Because the original, and actually I did another song called Dead Flowers by Miranda Lambert, a completely different song. Um,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
um, all right,
I
let's.
assume this is in standard tuning, but
Pounds you're talking about?
it's in standard tuning, right? It's not drop D.
Right. Can you hear those chords? Can you tell what they are?
And now when you're sitting there in your silk upholstered chair, talking to
That's
That sounds like it's in C.
it is very good.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So, what chords are we expecting to hear?
Well, we're going to hear C, and we're going to hear C and E, E minor,
Okay, which would be what number?
3.
Okay, so what about two? Let's if you're gonna bring in the minor chords, give me all six of them.
D minor,
Okay,
C, D minor, E minor, F, G, um, and A minor.
good. Okay, and yeah, go ahead and tune back up. Maybe we'll go back. We'll come back to this and talk about Dear Prudence a little bit. But let's go back into standard tuning since you brought this one up.
Okay.
Boy, even after 50 years of playing, when I put new strings on, I said, "God damn it! I should have done it a lot sooner." It sounds so good compared to the
In your world, does that mean you're restringing every week, month?
I should do it, especially in the summer. I should do it every 2 weeks. You
Two
know,
weeks?
but I let it go a month or 6 weeks sometimes, and I just and frankly, it takes me like 8 minutes to change a set of strings, right? It's like or five. I can do sometimes in five if I'm in a hurry, and so there's just no excuse for. And that's what a lot of times that's what happens. I'm about to play something or even shoot a video, and I'll play something. And I think, God, I gotta change these strings, and then I'm ready to go in like 10 minutes and do the whatever I was going to record.
Right, right, right.
I know people that don't do it as often. It takes like an hour, or it could take a half an hour, to get everything. It's kind of a big production, or it can be And so yesterday I did two guitars because they were both just sounding like I was worried about getting tetanus from them. It's like rusty strings.
Rusty.
So speaking of rusty, the lesson I'm going to try to get shot today is another Poco song. So you kind of got me on that Poco kick a while ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
yeah.
a very simple song. It turns out it was their only #1 hit. It was later than Keep on Trying. Let's douse that. Oh shoot! Hang on a second. It's my daughter. It might be important. Hi. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to just you just got it in an email? Yeah, just forward it to me. I got a couple lessons. I won't be able to get to it for a couple hours, but yeah. Okay. Okay, sounds good. See ya. Bye. Yesterday was her first official day of being a teacher. That's like her date of hire was yesterday. So she's starting. So she's running into all kinds of things. Has to make decisions on healthcare and other stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Is it Kaiser or is it Anthem Blue Cross? We've opted for Anthem usually, or for something other than Kaiser. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
Poco.
now, so the song opens up with this cool little lick. That's it, like that. That's the fanciest part, and they start singing. Someday I'm gonna break away. There we go. Just you wait and see. Da 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 so it's called Crazy Love.
Crazy Love. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So what I didn't realize about the song, so I had heard it, but I had stopped listening to Poco by that time. I'd stopped buying their albums. I kind of got a little disappointed in them, I think. And it turns out that everybody left the band before they made this album, except for Rusty Young and Paul Cotton. They were down to just the two of them, and they were going to make an album. They were going to make an album called the Cotton Young Band or something, right? And the record company was ready to drop them, although they didn't know it at the time. They said, we've had it with you guys. You guys haven't had a hit. You've given us 15 albums and nothing's done anything, right?
Yeah.
And then he played this. So Rusty wrote this song. And so he played this for them, and they changed their whole tune. They said, you know what, never mind. That's a hit. Let's get a new Poco album out. And so they got a couple of English guys, Steve Chapman, a drummer, and a bass player, that became the filled out the band, because Richie, everybody else had left, and Timothy Schmidt had just gone, and so anyway, so there's a great video though of Rusty playing this like just by himself in like a recording studio or something, and it's because the record is very thick. There's a lot of guitar parts on there that makes it kind of sparkly and stuff. Anyway, so so I'm
yeah. So okay. You're doing a lesson on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I hope to get it shot today and out even later today or tomorrow. So.
Okay.
That's my plan, but it'll be coming up soon. Okay, so back to Dead Flowers. So even if we just get back to now, this version I've got, I dragged it up here. It looks like it sounds like it's live, and it's two guitars. I don't know if you could hear it, but you hear a little lead kind of going on in the background. But I'm going to back it up a little bit and see what you think about the chords. What do you think?
It sounds like it starts in C.
Okay.
And sounds like it then goes down.
So strum those. See what you think.
Yeah, could be that.
Okay, and then what? Does it go back to C or not?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so we need something else here.
Yeah. No. No.
Okay. Okay, don't overlook the obvious.
Oh. Okay. The obvious would be. Is that the obvious?
No, there's a chord. You haven't played a chord yet. You haven't played all the chords in the key.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I tried D minor, that didn't work. I tried E minor, that didn't work.
Okay.
Well, I haven't played F. Okay.
Yeah. So, let me back it up one more time and see if you can. What about the sequence? Like, how long does it stay on each chord? It's a little tricky here in the beginning because it sort of fades in. Like, we don't actually hear the beginning of a phrase, but I'll point out where what I'm thinking is the beginning of the phrase. It's right there. You heard that little picking. When you hear those high notes in that picking, that's that first measure of C.
Okay.
Here it comes again. Change. Change. Okay, now we just heard 4 measures.
Yeah. It sounded like it went C, G, F back to C.
That's it. That's what I wanted you to hear. Is that right? So it's just that sequence of four chords, that start and end on C. C, G, F, C.
Yeah.
And then so now that goes on for a while, and then he starts singing. So we'll pick it up. We're in like the second time through, but chances are he's going to do this 3 or 4 times. And when he starts singing, it's probably going to be right on that first C. So we're listening for that phrase of C, G, F, C. We should be right at the beginning of the second time through. That's the G. And now we're right at the beginning of the verse.
Yeah.
So that's all we've heard so far is C, G, F, C.
Right.
Right? And my guess is that that's probably all the hints you need to figure out the rest of this. But let's listen a little bit further and see what's going on. And then we'll talk later, like over the next couple of weeks, about, we're hearing 2 guitars here. But once you've got the, but this, like a lot of Townes Van Zandt songs, like Pancho and Lefty and stuff like that too, a lot of them fall in the category that I would just call generic fingerpicking, where you don't have to do exactly what is going on there, but you do keep a steady alternating bass going, like in Dear Prudence.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot more variety. Like each particular chord on the guitar offers different easy embellishments.
Okay.
Like one thing I hear here on this C chord is a little melody up here on the high string. You're hearing these melody notes added in there on that C, right?
Yeah.
And then on the F chord, hear a hammer on from G to A, which means he's not playing the F as a bar. He's not doing this. He's playing it with his thumb wrapped around. Yeah, like you saw in Find the Cost of Freedom, or that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's sort of leave this. We'll listen a little further because I want you to hear when there is another. The progression changes probably when it gets in the chorus. I have a feeling the verse is just this, probably 4 times. So let's listen a little further.
And when you're sitting there
That's the G.
in your silk upholstered chair, talking to some rich folks that you know. Well, I hope you don't see me in my ragged company. All that you know, I could never be alone. Take me down, little Susie, take me down. I know you think you're the queen of the underground. Send me dead flowers every morning. Send me dead flowers by the mail. Send me dead flowers to my wedding. And I won't forget to put roses on your grave. Well,
You think you got it?
I think I could figure it out.
Yeah.
I do think I could figure it out.
Let's
Yeah.
leave that one there, and that's a good. It's much easier than some of the more complicated ones we've done.
Okay. Okay.
But it's more just a matter of like listening enough times to get the phrasing of how many measures happen here, and
Yeah. Okay.
what
Okay.
chord. But that's a great example of a song that you'd want to be able to. I mean, it's good that it's interesting that you heard that it was in the key of C first. I'm not sure what you connected there. Any idea?
I think just the sound. I don't know.
Okay, good. No, it's
Yeah.
each different guitar chord sounds different. At least all the open chords.
Yes.
If a song was playing, if you were playing this, if you were playing a bar, if you were playing an A at the 5th fret out of the E family or something, what I would hear there, I probably would, but I might not hear what I would hear is that it's a bar chord out of the E family. I may not be able to pin down that it was at the fifth fret. You know, that's semi a perfect pitch thing, but not really. Even the guitar, it's like once you listen enough, you can hear there's a difference in tone between the fifth fret and the fourth fret.
Yeah.
You know, the guitar rings differently and things like that. So it does get into that kind of subtle range. But as far as open chords, you know, like I mentioned, like on the F chord that we see here, I hear this hammer on in the middle of the chord. That means that this only happens like this on an F chord. You know, it's like the
Yeah.
same hammer on because it's hammering on the third from the second to the third, from a G to an A. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now there's another chord you can do that with on the guitar, but it's up high. D is the same thing. You know. So that's the same sound as the G to A hammer on an F chord, but you know, because you hear it on the top string, it's like, oh, you can only do that on a D chord, you know. So
Okay. I see. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
anyway.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Back to Dear Prudence.
Back to Dear Prudence. Okay.
Show me
Dear
what.
Prudence. Um, let's see.
So back to the drop D.
Yeah, back to drop D.
Or is that enough on Dead Flowers, by the way? I mean, enough to get you started?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll find that. I'll find that you just played there and listen to him.
Oh yeah.
Does it show him playing it?
No, it's a still shot of him. It's a black and white shot of him.
Oh, good. Okay.
When I just searched for Dead Flowers, Townes Van Zandt, it's what came up first.
Okay.
Um, and while you're listening to Townes, you might try to figure out Poncho and Lefty. Have you played that ever before?
I think. I mean, I certainly know the song, and there's versions of it that I can.
There's a lot of different people that do it. Yeah. But I would listen to Townes' version and see if you can figure out what he's doing. I'm pretty sure there's a live version that's like in somebody's kitchen or something, and it gives you a hint that I think he might be capoed at the second fret, but it gives you some hints about the chords.
Okay.
But I would start with one where you can't see what he's doing, you know, just to see if you can get started.
Okay.
Kind of without a head start.
Okay. Yeah. The prominent version of that song that I've heard many times is Roseanne Cash at a Willie Nelson
Oh.
gala thing,
Yeah.
and or some sort of, looks like some sort of an award show or something.
Yeah.
But she's out there, and she, very very nicely done.
Yeah.
So, Dear Prudence. Okay, so Dear Prudence.
Start with just a regular D chord, and show me the picking pattern. Just put a regular D on.
Oh, just okay. Yeah, the picking. Okay, it's a pinch.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Almost. Make sure you get that last finger right. Your middle finger, the last finger has to hit the second string. A lot of times you're getting the first string.
okay. Well, see, if we're playing this, is this in when you're? Are we doing this in a shifted position?
No, so this is standard position. All three fingers on the top strings.
All three. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because it's a D.
Got it. Okay. But so what's unusual about this D is we're using the three bass strings. Your thumbs. We're not using the third string as a bass note.
Right.
So we don't think of this as like a D position. It's
Right.
as if you were playing a C chord.
Okay. Okay. That's okay.
So it's all three fingers, and then your thumb covers 4, 5, and 6.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So okay. So it's the pinch, a pinch.
Perfect.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, I got to work on getting real clean on that one finger. That your middle finger getting the second string as the last one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right here.
You have a
Yeah.
little bit of a tendency to kind of brush it and get maybe the first string, you know. Sometimes when you're hitting, when you're pulling, when you're playing your second finger, sometimes you're getting the first string by mistake.
Okay.
So just listen for that as you're running through this.
Okay. So
And now something else slipped through the cracks.
yeah, no, the that slipped.
Okay, good, good. That's great because that's yeah. Want to make sure you can hear when something like that's happening. Good.
Yeah. Everything gets played here. I have to remind myself. Everything gets played on these chords or in
Yeah.
this pattern, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Perfect.
right.
Yeah. Now,
So back to 5. Yeah.
right. So it always starts on 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now the chord progression, once we get down here to D and start running through the chord progression, the second chord is very difficult to get all the notes clean. Have you messed around with this yet?
Yeah, I have.
It's
And
almost
what I
impossible.
found is I tried the different ways to get that,
Yeah.
and this version, let's see, yeah, this version comes closer than the others.
Okay, so for that, you know, there's a lot of options here,
Yeah,
and this is probably my favorite. But what you want to do is start the D chord with your little finger. In other words, take your third finger off right now.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Then you
yeah.
want to
So
start the
we
D.
have to play the what the sequence is. Yeah, that's the harder one.
Yeah,
When I was mentioning earlier the capacity to do this sequence right here is it's almost feels like an exercise that I should do every day to make sure that I can span this, for example,
yeah, yeah,
and then obviously trying to get these other ones clean.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so is this more like a bar chord? I mean, should I be dropping
Well,
around here or something? That would that help or
I think you look pretty good right there. You know, it's just that getting all those notes clean is just a real it's a wrestling match. You know, to make sure that everything is not interfering with anything else around it. And frankly, I'm really surprised that Lennon played this as cleanly as he did because he's not that clean a guitar player in general, you know. But
yeah?
somehow this just clicked for him, you know, and it worked out. I'm pretty sure he did it. He reached over and got that with his little finger, and that worked for him, you know, on
Okay,
the D with C in the bass. Um,
yeah,
because like another possibility is to do it with a partial bar, you know, like to start it like this with your first with a you know, so I'm playing a bar and my third finger.
on third, yeah,
Then I'd go get that C in the bass with the second finger.
yeah, yeah. The C itself, it's like it's not long enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
I well, getting the arch in it
Right.
is hard. That's harder. Yeah, well, at least that particular position.
Yeah. The note you're likely to kill on that is the open fourth string, right? That's the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
or the first. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
But it's still worth messing around with all those different possibilities and seeing which one's going to work best for you. And ideally, you could do it like 5 different ways, and they would all sound great.
yeah.
But that's a little overkill for right now.
So if you go from here, if you were doing this one,
Right.
then the next one I have to go back, don't I?
Yeah, that's what I would do for the next one, right? And then
Here,
just the same drop.
and then I have to go to here.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is not
that's
that's not really any different. That's not particularly any more difficult than the other one where you had your fourth finger there.
yeah,
You know, although it's probably easier. It's probably easier to have your fourth finger there than your third.
interestingly, here.
Yeah.
I can sort of get that.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so I can try all those, see what works.
Yeah, and again, I think I vote for this one. You know, starting the D with your little finger and then just adding your third,
Yeah,
and then just because then you're really in the best position for all of those notes to sound clear if
yeah,
if you started with them all in the right place, you know?
right. And the other thing was I found with this one, since you're coming from here,
Oh yeah, yeah.
um,
Ah, right. Then your fourth finger's already
so yeah, it was already there,
yeah.
and that was helpful. Just in the sequence of the progression, it was
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. Have you looked further into the song when it gets into some of the other chords, like when you've got the C to the G that happens later, and then later we've got the F to A flat and to G?
Uh,
Okay.
I haven't looked at any of those.
There's a couple of spots where the sixth string doesn't get played as the third bass note,
Hmm.
but it's because you're playing like an F chord,
Yeah,
and you don't need to play the F as a full bar, but you need five strings.
yeah,
And so you're not gonna. And the same thing. I think when at one point it goes to a C chord. Won't you come out to play? And so on the C's, on the full C's, you stay with just 5 and 4 in the bass twice. It doesn't alternate down to the
okay,
But the more important thing that I want to talk about before we wrap it up, is the sequence of chords in the beginning. I'm not sure if that was exactly right. It was probably pretty close. But usually when people are starting to work on this, it's really hard to connect one measure to the next and not have like a tiny little break there and just keep the picking rolling like as smooth as John did, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So what I like to have people think about when they're doing this is do it slow enough to where you don't hesitate like before that beat. You know, it's like you got to be thinking ahead. And I think the second chord is just like the first, right? You just got to lower it a whole step.
yeah. It goes from here to here.
Right. Okay. And now the next one is what? Right. Okay.
So
And the next one? Right. So that's an easy change. Right. That's a more difficult change to get that smooth from the little E shape to the D shape. Right. You see how right here where we've got a part. This is a part of the E family.
yeah, right.
And so that's pretty much what we have here is E and D families working their way down. Eventually we have one out of the A family, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so
Here.
yeah, so what I like to have people try to work on here is especially when you're going from the one at the 8th fret, which would be a C,
Yeah,
to the one at the 7th fret, which would be a G, right? The D chord,
yeah,
D shape at 7, is make sure to put your fingers down one at a time. When you come out of this, don't try to do this. You know, putting the whole thing down at once, there's a good chance that something's going to be not clear. So it should look like this, like we've talked about before. You know, so get in the habit of your left hand not moving in a block, like
right.
spread it out.
Yeah, and then okay. So here that would be
Right.
okay. But when you go back to the E, it's
Bar first, right. You need the bar,
bar first and
then you worry about the other finger. Right.
okay.
And then
Okay.
when you go to the last one, the one that's out of the A family, same thing. You want to make sure that you get the note on the first string every time first.
Aha. So here.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after that, now we're
Then you're into the main progression.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Got
So
anything?
from here, this one's just a simple. This one's just a slide, though, right?
Right. And now we get into all the normal shapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
first two are slightly unusual shapes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Oh, that's a good.
I don't know if we talked about this before, but that in 1968 when they put that White Album together, they kind of recorded that in the summer of '68, and there were a whole bunch of finger picking songs on there, and it's because in February of that year they'd been in India with the Guru and and Mia Farrow and Ann Donovan, and that's the important thing is Donovan taught them how to do this finger picking stuff. So there's no finger picking on any Beatles albums until this, which they learned in India from Donovan. Because he was an old folky guy, this is what he did.
Yeah.
So on that album we hear Dear Prudence and Julia, both Lennon tunes, and Blackbird. It's the first time we ever heard McCartney do any finger picking.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was doing it that fast, that quickly, huh?
Well, he already had a lot of skills,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure he was totally fascinated with this idea of finger, doing that finger picking stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Got
Okay.
lots to work on there.
Plan on next week?
Yep.